And from that, let's talk about a different kind of crisis that's gripping America. I'm not talking about the gun menace in the country or its polarization. An opioid epidemic in the United States is only getting worse. And at the heart of this horror story lies an animal tranquilizer. It is called xylazine. It is showing up in street drugs. It's causing skin disease, severe wounds, which could even lead to limb amputation. And it is leaving law enforcement agencies puzzled. First things first, what is xylazine? The animal tranquilizer is known by street names like Tranq, zombie drug. It came into being in 1962 as an anesthetic for veterinary procedures. In human beings, the drug led to the respiratory depression and low blood pressure issues. So the trials were stopped. It then started being used as an addictive substitute for heroin. And this started most likely in the 2000s. It causes wounds, which, if left untreated, can lead to amputation. It can knock you out for hours, so it can leave the users vulnerable for long periods of time. Let me now tell you what's happening in Philadelphia. More than 90% of the lab-tested dope samples there were positive for xylazine. More than 90%. And this problem is not just limited to Philadelphia. This is happening increasingly in drug-hot zones across the country. A study published in June detected xylazine in the drug supply in 36 states and the District of Columbia. In New York City, xylazine has been found in 25% of the drug samples. The zombie drug is causing horror across America. And how exactly? The animal sedative is being mixed with fentanyl. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid. It was originally developed as a painkiller for surgery. It has a specific chemical structure with multiple areas that can be modified, often illicitly, and it is being used to bulk up supplies of illicit fentanyl, worsening its impact. Basically, the dangerous sedative is infiltrating the country's illicit drug supply, being found in substances like fentanyl. And this highlights how dangerous the drug supply has really become. In fact, in November, the US Food and Drug Administration warned the healthcare professionals about the drug, and this is what complicates the matters. It does not show up in routine toxicology screens and can be difficult to distinguish it from opioid use. And since it's not an opioid, xylazine may not respond to a standard treatment for opioid overdoses. It's also becoming increasingly prevalent in overdose deaths. And now let me tell you why this is a serious problem. Overdose deaths in the US involving opioids have been on the rise. The number increased from just over 70,000 in 2020 to almost 81,000 in 2021. And here's the bigger worry. Deaths caused by an overdose of synthetic opioids like fentanyl were the biggest contributor to the overall number of deaths. And here's the bigger problem. The actual prevalence of xylazine is unknown. It's not listed as a controlled substance for animals or humans, which means it is not subject to strict monitoring, which is a part of the problem. You see, it has not been on the radar of the federal law enforcement. And now, as it wreaks havoc and leaves the American authorities on the edge, the US needs to up its game to tackle this menace before time runs out. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.